Hi, I'm Kyle, and on this episode of the MWA podcast, Mark and I are asking Colby St. Clair the 5 questions. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out his interview on episode 543. So welcome back to the show, Colby.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back.
Yes, well, I can't wait to get into the 5 questions, but before we do that, let's dip our toes in the woodworking news. So I just want to do a couple of shout out here. Peter Galbert has a new temple chair video. He's been teaching classes on this temple chair for a number of years. It's kind of almost I would say a short bar stool, like counter height bar stool type thing. And it's a really lovely chair. And he just released I think it's like an 8-hour video on making this temple chair from either using green wood or kiln wood. Now I'll put a link to this, and I'm actually linking to an article Lost Art Press did, because Peter right now is revamping his website. So he kind of has a website which is linked in this article, which you can actually buy it, but it's not something that has any description of the actual temple chair.
It's not a great sales page.
Yeah, exactly.
Not yet.
So I figured I would link to the article that Lost Art Press did, where you can get a little bit more of a background of what you're doing. But it's a lovely chair. I think he's taught this for at least 3 to 4 years, and it's fantastic. So check that out. And on the chair plans bandwagon, Curtis Buchanan has another bar stool, so to speak, and that is a Democratic bar stool. He's famous for that Democratic chair that he put out, and now he's made a full-scale plan for a bar stool, and it looks lovely too. It's absolutely fantastic. It's, and looking at the two between the temple chair and the bar tool, probably, and I mean, Curtis Buchanan's Democratic bar stool, it kind of depends on, what your aesthetic is. Curtis Buchanan is kind of modern, kind of rustic, whereas Peter Galbert's is definitely more of the modern style. So, check those two out if you're in the market for a bar stool.
And the drawings for Curtis were done by Jeff Lefkowitz,
Yes.
So they're incredible and clear. Curtis wrote the instructions, I'm sure. So
yeah, and the same thing for Pete. I mean, it's also Jeff.
Oh, Pete. Yeah, Pete's video. I don't know. I guess you can get drawings too, right? With Pete.
Yeah, with it, full scale drawings and templates and all that stuff is also done by Jeff. So
yeah, it's hard to find somebody who can explain the intricacies of chair making better than Pete. So definitely be a good video series.
Yes. Looking forward to it. So let's move on to our Patreon shout out. So who do we have to thank this week?
Yeah. So we always thank all of our Patreon supporters, but today we're singling out Sean Nichols. Thanks, Sean, for supporting us. If you would like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/MWA podcast and make a pledge, and we will appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much, Sean. All right, so Colby, ready for the 5 question?
Let's do it.
All righty. Well, first up is you might have to go back a couple of years, but what is your favorite tool? And our limit, as always, is 23.
This one is super easy for me, and I would do this time and time again if I had to do a business again. I had a 60-inch wide Timesaver drum sander that lived up to its name. This thing I think it was one of the first ones made, so it was made in 88, I think, and it was a Haas.
Wow.
60-inch wide drum sander. We were largely producing tables. I could sand straight out of clamps to 220 grit in maybe 10 minutes, and then finish it off, drop down a grit with another favorite tool, a Festool sander, 120, 220, finish it. You can do a tabletop in an hour.
Wow. So
yeah, belt sanders, man. The wide belts are awesome.
Yeah. So how many different belts did that have in it?
That had one belt.
It was a drum.
Yeah, just a big bottom drum. The belt sandpaper went up and over. It was.
Oh, it was a belt. Okay, I thought it was a drum sander. I was like, you're wrapping paper around a drum, but you're it's actually a big belt sander.
Okay.
Belt sander. Yeah. Sorry, I probably said drum sander. I had a drum sander. But yeah, the Timesaver sander is incredible.
Okay, because I think they make them now where they have more than one grit on there.
Yes.
Yeah, and they have them with helical head planer combos, so you can literally send it in rough stock and come out finished, basically. And they go up. I mean, you're spending $100,000 on a machine like that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
That
It's
was,
like those big machines you see at AFS where you throw in raw lumber at the front end and you get a table on the back end. Yeah,
it's got a chair for you on the other end.
Yeah, that was a major investment for me in my shop, was going from an old like Ramco, really rustic, old beat up belt sander to like a brand new 36-inch. And man, like, well, I was glad I had the old sander, but the new sander saves so much work because the old one put these little like shadow lines because the drum was hard. It had dried out and it was kind of like over hard.
Yeah.
So it was vibrating as it sanded. So it put these little waves. Yeah.
Chatter.
It's almost like chatter, but it was, yeah. And so we would spend hours sanding that stuff out by hand, and I was like, let me just do a little cost benefit analysis on this and see like, how long does it take? And if I didn't have to do that anymore, how many tables would I have? Man, it was like, oh, this will pay for itself very quickly. So yeah. Production shops, it's really hard to do without something like that.
Yeah.
It's like buying a spray rig for a finish shop, it's just super fast.
Yeah. Yep.
Who has influenced you the most in your woodworking?
Table designer, love of walnut, live edge walnut. Japanese American furniture designer, woodworker, George Nakashima. Truly incredible furniture maker. Yeah.
Yep. He's great. I have one of his couches in my living room.
Oh, awesome.
No, it's not his couch. It's one that's based on his design. I looked at the thing. I went, they want $20,000 for that? I think I can make that.
That's a beautiful work. Beautiful work.
I saw on the furniture app, there was on your website, there was sort of like a breakdown of like how a process might work, and there was some sketches and drawings. I was like, that looks a lot like a Nakashima sort of a style, the cantilever style for a desk. But I think you ended up putting like a huge stone on the base or something like that instead. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, we should roll right into the next question because that's my answer for the next question.
Okay, sorry.
No.
Go ahead, Kyle.
So what is your white well? The one thing you haven't made but always wanted to?
That piece that we were just mentioning on our website, a cantilevered desk, a little bit into the George Nakashima style. It's essentially a large rectangular live edge walnut slab desktop that's counterbalanced on what essentially looks like a river slick boulder off to one end. You of course can't bring a 2,000-pound boulder in, well, most houses, but I always wanted to build this, and I had thought about it in my head how I would actually do it and how I could attach the subframe under the boulder, a fake boulder, to the floor. And then when we were interviewing furniture designers for the furniture app, I thought, you know what, I want to see what I can push one of these designers with a heavy engineering background and see what he would do with this desk. And that's what you see on the furniture app's website is his submission for his interview. Very talented furniture designer, Drake Dong out of Vancouver. And it's a cantilevered desk. And I always wanted to make it, and someday I will. But you can see the design, the engineering of it, the 3D animation of it, all on our website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what is the fake boulder made of? Is it like a hollow cast concrete form, something like that?
Yeah, you can do it a few different ways. I think the way that we have it on our website is either a wood or steel frame that sandwiches around a Y-shaped steel base that's mounted to the floor. It has supports going out underneath the desk to support it, and it's obviously bolted to the desk. Mm-hmm. And then the boulder, there's a few ways you could do it. You could do it with like a spray concrete onto a wire mesh. Mm-hmm. I honestly thought about doing a paper mache with kind of like a hand rubbed gritty cement over top of it and then spraying it to look like boulder. There's a few different ways you can do it, but if someone's listening and they see it and there's another way, reach out. I love hearing the engineering thoughts behind pieces.
There's got to be somebody who works at Disney or like a theme park who's like, yeah, we make boulders all day. Well, Bass Pro.
Yeah.
The Bass Pro is right down the street. They do all the like boulder sculpting and just crazy stuff. So yeah, there's got to be somebody in one of those buildings.
Yeah, if you want to do something really lightweight, you could. I mean, you can do plaster and stuff like that. But yeah, I just don't know how much it's going to stand up to any abuse, like you kick it or something like that. But Bass Pro Shop probably, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. Needs to find their furniture designers or their product designers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Well, what is your number one tip for fellow woodworkers?
Invest in tools off the bat. Save your money. Buy a quality tool. Don't buy Ryobi. Don't buy Ryobis. Don't buy Craftsman. Save your money and buy the tool that you really want right off the bat. There's only so far talent can take you, and I know I'm going to get beat up for that. You can be a really incredibly talented woodworker, furniture maker, and have janky tools, and you're only going to go so far. Buy the quality tool that gives you the quality product that you want to sell, produce, make. So invest early in a quality tool.
Cool. That makes a lot of sense. Yes.
I concur.
Exactly. So, what is your go-to finish?
You get beat up on a lot of these questions, I think.
Yeah.
I was a production table shop with restaurants. A lot of the restaurants would put the tables outside for Sundance Film Festival here in Park City in the winter. We're at between 7,000 and 9,000 feet elevation, high desert, UV, sun, dry. I use an exterior grade finish that home painters would use on cedar and siding. It's called Rudd Prothane, RUDD. It goes on crystal clear, all different sheens. You can mix your own sheens also. It's non-yellowing. It doesn't chip. It doesn't get destroyed. It stands up at Utah elevations. It's truly incredible, and it's water resistant. Restaurants in Utah have to use this really abrasive tabletop cleaner. No problems with it. I've done hundreds of tables with it. No problems with it. Even today, I'll go to High West Distillery and see tables that have been there for 7 years getting beat up, and they are beautiful. Rudd Prothane, semi-gloss.
Okay. Is it a spray finish, I assume?
It is a spray finish, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How toxic of a spray finish is it? We're talking Tyvek full body suit?
I wouldn't say a full body suit, but my spray room, I did have a sign on the front that was the cancer room. So a really good, high quality respirator.
Right.
And that's largely all I did.
Yes. No beards while spraying, right?
No, I'm sure it wasn't great, but it's probably no better than any other spray finish out there. So
yeah. Most of them are pretty bad, but well, that's interesting. That's interesting. So something that's bulletproof outside is always I've heard a lot of stuff. I mean, down here, we got all the spar varnish and all that kind of stuff, but we get beat up by the sun and the humidity and all of that. So
a lot of those rub-on finishes are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But if a lot of the homes that we put furniture in had tables sitting unused with centerpieces on them for 11 months out of the year,
mm-hmm.
and you'd get yellowing or you'd get UV damage, and you'd take a table runner off and you could see exactly where it was. The Rudd Prothane, no problems one bit. And I tested it extensively beforehand. I put it through the ringer. It was bomb proof, and never any complaints. Never had to go back to finish tables. None of it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Sounds like a good finish for if I ever get around to what was Pepe Lima's design, the
Hyperion project.
The Hyperion. If I ever get around to building my front porch Hyperions,
yeah,
and that would be a great finish to put on them.
Yeah. It's about
Yes.
$140 a gallon. It's not cheap.
Nah.
And
If you don't have to redo it,
Yeah.
and the furniture lasts longer, it's a good investment. It's like
Yeah.
buying good tools, right? Put a good finish
Exactly.
on. You don't mess with it anymore.
Yeah. So what do you have to spray that with? Can you get HVLP?
Yeah, I wasn't a dork with my spray equipment. I honestly can't remember if it was a Fuji sprayer or what it was, but a quality of $2,000 sprayer. I think it was probably an HVLP sprayer. Put it in a can, sprayed it. I would do, my standard was like 6 coats, but they dry really fast. They dry in about 15 minutes. You can sand between coats. You don't get any orange peeling between it if you spray. You have to figure out your ratio of thinning it. But it was truly an incredible finish. But I loved it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to look into that. Well, cool. Well, before we let you go, where can folks find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, you can go to thefurnitureapp.com. We do have a free trial subscription you can test us out with. And then Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, just at the Furniture App.
Excellent.
Fantastic. Well,
Thanks for
thank you
coming
so much, Colby.
Yeah, of course. It was my pleasure. It was great chatting with both of you.
And that just about wraps it up for this show. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the show on the podcatcher of your choice. Just search for the Modern Woodworkers Association. And while you're there, please leave us a review. You can follow us on Instagram at MWA_podcast. And if you'd like to support the podcast, go over to patreon.com/MWA podcast. But the best thing you can do is tell a friend. Word of mouth goes a long way in sharing our discussion.